and welcome to the daily newspaper analysis, which is brought to you by LawSikho. Today, we have one article for our discussion that has been taken from the Hindu newspaper that talks about sex as work, basically giving prostitution a legal right. So, what is the current status of it will be discussed in this article. Then we have the news update and legal news for ourselves. Let's start with a discussion that talks about sex as work. So there has been a long-standing demand from sex workers for their work to be decriminalized. With this, we understand that even till today, prostitution or basically the sex work is not legal in India, and it is a criminal work to do even till date. And but there has been a demand that has come up from the sex workers. There is a very recent movie also that has come up on this issue. If you must have all watched Gangubai, so that also in a way talks about the rights and dignity and the various kinds of claims that have been brought up by the sex workers. The movement has received partial success as now the Supreme Court has held that the adult sex workers have their right to dignity and equal protection under law. Basically, the Supreme Court in the case of Buddhadev Karmaskar has held that the sex workers are entitled to a life of dignity. Now, as we know, that under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, we have the right to life and personal liberty. And when we talk about right to life, it is actually the right to live with dignity. So the Supreme Court in the case of Buddhadev Karmaskar has also held that even the sex workers have their right and they are very much entitled to live a life with dignity. The court invoked powers under Article 142 to issue the guidelines till any new legislation comes in this regard. Now, this definitely is a big boost to secure the right of a class of individuals who have been exploited and made vulnerable, as is the case with the sex workers in our country. The court has also abjectly criticized the barbaric acts of police on sex workers as if they are not entitled to any rights. Now, when we know that many a times what happens is that in the cases of arrest and other such cases, the police, it tends to treat such sex workers with very harsh, treatments, with very harsh behavior, and their behavior is many a times quite barbaric in nature as well. And that is why the court has said that this is not at all going to be entertained, and thus the police also needs to recognize that there are rights of the sex workers as well. The court has also asked the state government to do a survey of protective homes where the adult workers are detained and to finally process their release in a time-bound manner. So that is why if at all they do not want to work in this and they want to be released, so they should make all the efforts to release these workers. So the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act penalizes the acts of running a brothel. Brothel basically is a place where such kind of trade or sex work is done, or even soliciting in a public space or living off the earnings of a sex worker. So the general observations made by the police should help in sensitizing the police, media, and the society towards the sex workers, which is definitely the need of the hour. Now let's see what do we have for our news updates today. Firstly, launch of the Indian Business Portal. So Minister of State for Commerce and Industry Anupriya Patel has launched the Indian Business Portal in New Delhi. The portal will serve as an international trade hub for Indian exporters and foreign buyers. It's a business-to-business digital marketplace to empower small, medium enterprises, exporters, artisans, and farmers to identify new markets for their products and grow their sales globally. Secondly, Tomb of Sand won the Booker Prize. So Tomb of Sand, which is a novel authored by Gitanjali Shree about an 80-year-old Indian woman's sudden decision to travel to Pakistan, was named as the winner of the International Booker Prize, which is a prestigious award for the fiction translated into English. Thirdly, first Make in India iDrone has been launched. So in a landmark event that epitomizes the government's commitment to Antodaya in health, making healthcare accessible to the last citizen of the country, Shri Mansukh Mandaviya, who is the Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare, launched the ICMR, which is the Indian Council of Medical Research's drone response and outreach in Northeast, that is iDrone. This is a delivery model to make sure that life-saving vaccines and drugs reach everywhere, especially in the areas that have tough terrains like the hilly regions. Fourthly, India to get semi-high-speed freight train. So to tap the growing freight sector, the railways is aiming to introduce the country's first semi-high-speed freight train by December 2022. Based on the Vande Bharat platform, the 16-coach Gati Shakti train will be able to run at 160 kilometers per hour and will be manufactured at the Integral Coach factory in Chennai. Here is a question for you guys. Do you know what exactly is a freight train? If you know, let me know in the comment section below. Fifthly, new Arunachal monkey named after a mountain pass. So the Sela macaque was geographically separated from the Arunachal macaque by Sela, which is the eastern Himalayan pass at 13,700 feet. A new species of old world monkey recorded from Arunachal Pradesh has been named after this strategic mountain pass at the sea level, at the 13,700 feet above the sea level. Here is let's see what do we have for the legal updates for the day. Firstly, extrajudicial confession made by co-accused could be admitted in evidence only for corroboration, says the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court has observed that extrajudicial confession made by the co-accused could only be admitted in evidence when done so as corroborative piece of evidence. In absence of any substantial evidence, the extrajudicial confession loses its significance and no conviction can then be made. This was held in the case of Chandrapal versus State of Chhattisgarh. Secondly, object of Rent Control Act is not to deprive landlords of their bona fide properties, says the Rajasthan High Court. It also says that the basic object of Rajasthan Rent Control Act is to save the harassment of tenants from unscrupulous landlords. This was held in the case of Mangal through LRS, which are the legal representatives, versus Amar Singh through legal representatives. So this was all for today. We hope you liked it. If you did, do not forget to like this session. You may also subscribe to our channel. If you wish to download the PDF of today's slides, you can join our Telegram channel. The link is there in the description box below. Thank you so much.